Well, now, greetings, everyone. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome to another episode of F Yo Feelings Friday. I'm your hostess and your melanated queen, CEO and owner of Brown.Girls.Are.Beautiful, you all. Today, we do have a topic going on. I don't even know if I have it scrolling across the screen. But we're talking about someone had brought this up as a topic, the American dream, you all. What is the American dream? That is a good question. Is it the American dream or is it a freaking nightmare that they've sold us? So we're going to go ahead and get that topic scrolling. Okay. While we do that, I just want to say I hope you all have had a wonderful week. This week seems like it went by so fast. And it's just been very tiring for me. And my week is still not over because I have so much to do in such small little time. All right. So, the American dream, or okay. We're also going to be discussing a little bit about Donald Trump and the immigration situation going on because for some reason, people seem to get hypersensitive in the comments section, you all, because I posted a video and a clip of Donald Trump. I didn't even speak on it. I just posted a clip on my Instagram page, but it seemed to spark a lot of interest and it seemed to trigger a lot of comments. So, with that being said, it seems like the country, a lot of people are very heavily invested into the subject matter, I must say. Before we get started, y'all, let's join hands and bow our heads. You know how we do. We want to give thanks today that we made it into another day. Right now, you all, we are in Virgo season. Shout out to my sister. She has a birthday coming up in approximately 11 days. You all, I totally forgot that her birthday was coming up. So her birthday is coming up. I'm going to have to do something for her to send. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. It is a blessing to be here for another year revolving around the sun. Even though people want to tell you that, life is over after you get past the age of 25 or 30. No, it's not the case. Either you can be here or not be here, and everybody can just die at the age of 28 or 29. And let's see how far we would get as individuals without experience, okay, and wisdom because you need mothers, you need grandparents, you need aunts, you need cousins, you need older siblings to help guide you through this thing we call life, mentors, counselors, social workers. Some people need psychiatrists and some people need psychologists, you all, because it's a lot of sick, mentally ill individuals out here. And what I classify is also a mental illness. I think people have different spirits living in them. I think they have multiple spirits living in them, taking over their vessel. And I believe that this is where schizophrenia and bipolar disorder comes from, you all. Now, I could be incorrect, but this is just something that I'm looking at from the spiritual perspective. All right, but without any further ado, you all, let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera on so you all can see me today. Mm-mm-mm. Should we let the people know that we're live right now? I think so, y'all. I don't even know if they know that I'm live. Brown Girls Are Beautiful here, just announcing that we are live and in the building for F Your Feelings Friday. Tune on in and join in on the discussion. Hope to see you soon. You all, I'm going to post this video to my Instagram as we speak right now. So don't judge, okay? But I got to do it. All right, y'all. Multitasking right now, multitasking at the moment. Many things are going on here. Yes, it is. All right, so we don't like dead air. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little clip while I handle this situation. All right. Okay. Oh, someone said, I missed the live. I missed the live. I didn't know you were on, Queen. I said, I'm on now. Oh boy. So yeah, I think I might share some of this if I can bring up my Instagram page just so y'all can see how triggered people are. And it's so sad that we have a lot of individuals, that vicariously live their lives on social media thinking it's a reflection of the full aspect of reality. Unfortunately, they need help. Okay. Seriously need help. All right. Now I'm going to post to my other Instagram page and just let them know that I'm going live right now. Okay. 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 And I don't know why people get triggered like they do, but hopefully they can get a life and live a better one and not worry about a stranger on Instagram and what they're posting on their Instagram page because nobody asked for you to come into my comment section. I don't know you. Okay. Go get yourself a real life. All right, y'all have somebody placing an order. All right. So people have been requesting F Your Feelings Friday. Well, luckily we're on live right now. Excuse me as I have to send out the link. I got to send this link out, y'all. Just a second. Hey, hopefully that will suffice. And, I do have people that I guess spy or watch me as I do my live streams. It's not like I haven't noticed. This has been going on for quite some time now. So, if you're new in the building, hi, like, share, and subscribe. If you like this channel and what we're speaking about over here, you can share the video and everything like that. If there's anything you would like to discuss, feel free, and we can speak on it. Let me see. All right, let me let someone else know that I'm live. Okay, there we go, y'all. Okay, so I just let a few people know, not a whole lot. If people want to come on, they'll come on. And if not, they'll see it later. So we do have What's good, knowledge seeker? How are you? It's so good to see you here. You said you've been tired and you've been needing some rest. So have I. I took a nap before I got on here, and really I wanted to just rest longer, but I said I'm going to be more consistent and I'm going to start coming on here. So let's go ahead and get the show going so we're not pontificating too long and boring the people. All right, y'all, here I am. How are you all today? I don't know what's going on with Miss Melanated. Let me let her know that I'm live. I haven't heard from her today. I hope she's doing well, you all. Let's see if I can send the link to her. Okay. There we go. And let me send it to two more people in case they want to tune in. All right. But what's good, knowledge seeker? I am glad to see that you're here, that you're in the building. You didn't miss much at all. I've just been sharing the live and letting people know that I'm on here. On my main channel, I spoke briefly about the new variant. And because I made a very brief live stream about that. You know what happened. I got a STRIKE saying I'm going against WHO's community guidelines and that I'm speaking against what they said and blah, blah, blah. But never did I misquote them or anything like that. I was just giving my opinion of some things. Oh, you did watch the playback of the last two. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So, oh, and just so you know, I haven't been posting because I'm on YouTube. Okay. Okay, you on YouTube? I gotta check you out. I think I saw a few of your videos pop up on my timeline. They are so entertaining and you make me laugh. I tell you that all the time. So yeah, so we're on this channel today. And today's topic, you all, is something that was brought to my attention. And I said, I think this is interesting. So I want to talk about this topic, the American dream. Okay, is it a dream or is it a beautiful nightmare? Which one do you think it is? YouTube jail. F YouTube jail, okay? Shout out to BGAB, Brown Girls Are Beautiful, all day, every day. It's hashtag no days off. Y'all know how we do around here. But yeah, so we want to talk about this thing. YouTube, hopefully they don't get offended, okay, because we're talking about something that impacts the American people and it's real out here. So I don't know if you saw the Instagram post with Donald Trump, but everybody knows that he's a big advocate about shutting down the borders, policing and patrolling the borders. And with that being said, I can understand why. Okay, a lot of Americans feel that the immigrants come over here, they get a lot of benefits, they live a lavish lifestyle, they're able to band together, they come over here illegally, okay? And a lot of them are complacent over here. If you go to like social service and you go to like these places for public assistance, you will see many of them standing in line with their multiple children, families, droves of them, okay, seeking benefits, being rewarded benefits, getting jobs, okay. And so this is what Donald Trump was speaking about when he said, we're going to build a wall. We're going to patrol the borders, and Mexico is going to pay for it. I specifically remember him saying that. With that being said, let's talk about this American dream that they keep selling to the people, the American people, and people all around the world. And I've spoken to some individuals that are not from here. Okay. I've spoken to individuals that are from Africa and different parts of the world, different continents. And what they have told me directly is that America is good with the antics that it portrays through the camera lens and through propaganda techniques and strategies. Basically, because they're able to portray an image that America is just full of vibrance, full of life, full of entertainment. They show the riches, the glam, the Hollywood. They show all these elaborate, luxurious things to a lot of people that do not live here. Okay. And so when they see these things, they automatically feel that every American citizen is living this way. And that is simply not the case. I had to actually, well, I didn't have to tell them because they actually come over here and they see for themselves what's really going on. I spoke to a guy from Qatar, and he shared with me that more and more Americans are leaving and going and living in Qatar. Now, I believe Qatar is, it's in the Middle East, but let me see what part of the Middle East, you all. You know, Americans are not that good with geography, unfortunately. I want to say Kuwait is you. Where is Qatar located? Because, you know, when I speak, I want to make sure that I am correct. Okay, so it's in the east of Arabia, Saudi Arabia. So it's not Kuwait, but I knew it was the Middle East. All right. So basically, you know, I met another guy from France, melanated guy that speaks French. And he was saying some similar things, that the healthcare system over here is horrible. He was saying that it costs more over here to eat healthy than it does to eat badly. He was also saying that a lot of American women, melanated women over here, are obese. He also stated the facts that you cannot speak on the truth about their obesity, or less they will get, unless, and they will get offended. Basically, you have to lie to them, aka we've heard about the Lizzo situation where she's advocating for BBW women out here. Even though it's unhealthy to carry all this extra weight around, they are trying to spread this as women empowerment, even though it is, obesity is a deficit that's going on, causing diabetes, you know, in the melanated community, causing heart conditions, causing heart attacks, causing cholesterol issues, causing, you know, the death of a lot of people. But yet, and still, people want to promote the fact that you can be overweight and still think it's cute. Now, he said that if you mention this to the American women, they're going to be offended. But over in his country where he resides, they deal in the truth. So you can tell the truth and not have to suffer the ramifications of being honest. So over here, I think Americans like to live a beautiful lie, a beautiful nightmare, if you will. So do they really want to live a beautiful dream, the American dream? Are we able to live the American dream is the question, because it doesn't seem like we can. Knowledge Seekers said YouTube is already not liking the live stream. It's kind of shaky on my end. You know, it's really, really sad. Yeah, I think they are messing with it. Um, you said who is not offended in America these days? Americans, a lot of Americans are hypersensitive, and I'm going to show you that if I'm able to pull up my Instagram comments. Okay. And all I did was post a clip about Donald Trump, and the clip was only him speaking about what he was saying about, you know, the mandated V word, and that he's not going to fund anybody that makes people wear masks in public places. And I didn't even comment. I just played the video and people got offended and started coming in the comment section. So, yeah, hypersensitivity goes on here. And you can't tell the truth to people because they want to deal in their feelings. So, how are we going to live an American dream when most people live in lies? All right. So, another thing that I wanted to point out here. Okay. I wanted to point out the fact that the people that come outside of America to America says that, you know, the food here is different for them. They're not able to eat um, the food here without getting sick. And I even had a guy tell me that he went to visit Mexico on vacation. And he said the food was so fresh in Mexico that when he came back to America, he started getting sick because his body became intolerant of the food. So basically, over here, we're not eating food that is healthy for our cells. We're eating processed chemicals, you all. Yeah, they're messing with the live stream. And unfortunately, this is just facts and it's just the truth because I'm not the one saying it. People that have actually experienced this have said it. So you might want to talk to some people before you start saying that I am not in agreement okay, with the FDA, because we already know the FDA and their regulations. Just watch the documentary called What the Health, and you will see that a lot of these things are basically funded and lobbied and passed through Congress. This is why they're able to put certain things in the food that we consume. Okay. All right. So, also, there was another guy that said, the food in his country is a whole lot fresher. This was the guy from France. And he said, when he was in France, basically, he was able to eat healthier. The food was cleaner. The food was fresher. The food was cheaper when it was healthier. And it costs more to eat at like a fast food restaurant such as McDonald's. So you see how over in America things are so backwards. You said, "Don't even get me started on fast food. That's not even real food." Ooh, it's not. I did a live stream talking about the food, talking about McDonald's. Do you know what YOUTUBE did? They struck the video, they struck the channel, and they took the video down. This was like maybe a year after the video was up. So I believe they started going through and looking through my channel because I had not even posted about the food in probably like a year. But it was specifically speaking about these fast food restaurants. McDonald's was one of them. And the fact that HUMAN meat, okay, was being served in restaurants. And if you don't believe me, the research is out there. You could do the research. That's why so many of my videos will be posted on my Patreon page, because unfortunately, when you start telling the TRUTH, you get shadow BANNED, and you get STRIKE on your channel. So it's very sad. Yes. And I showed the video to my nephew. And when he saw what was going on, he said he no longer wanted to eat at McD's. All right. It is disgusting. But this is not the first time, nor will it be the last time that this information is going public. People have found grounded human teeth in their food at these restaurants. All right. And you said, why do we see so many celebrities do right? Because they are pushing the narrative. Now, I don't know. Well, I think you did see the oh yeah, Sweetie had her own burger at McDonald's. I saw that nonsense. She didn't even like it because I watched that video, and when she was eating it, it looked like she didn't even enjoy it. So how do you expect us to want to eat something that she didn't like it? You know what I mean? Like, we already know what's going on. That's not really a restaurant I frequent. I used to eat there before I knew the truth about it. And unfortunately, the food has started changing many years ago. I remember when the chicken actually tasted like real chicken back when I was a child, and we used to get the nuggets. And then I noticed the chicken didn't taste the same anymore. And what they do is they gradually increase and start to change things, so that by the time you look back and look around, you're like, oh, well, what happened? Well, it was a gradual change. So you didn't notice it right away, but they were adding additives and chemicals and substances to the things in which we consume, and altering things and making it taste different. And it used to be more flavorful. And now things just don't taste the same anymore. So I have to be very strategic in the language that I use, because I know that the video bots are watching, the AI watches me. Even if I come on here, I can definitely see that someone watches me when I get on here. They watch me till I sign off, because they are basically, they're watching everything I do. They're listening to what I say. So just if I say things in a roundabout way, you know why, because I have to be very strategic over here. Now, what did I want to share with you? So I wanted to share, there were a couple videos that I pinned here in my notebook section for F Your Feelings Friday, the topic here. We want to talk about the American dream. Now, we already spoke on the food, okay? That's going to be very important. If you don't have good health, you don't have good food, you don't have good health. If you don't have good health, how are you able to live a dream? How do you get the dream life? Or is it always just a dream because you're not really living in reality? All right. It's just not right. You said you haven't eaten McDonald's in 7 years. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you for having that willpower. A lot of people are not as strong to leave the Mickeys alone. It's not good for people. Okay. But let me be careful in what I say because, YOUTUBE is so sensitive. I can barely say anything on here, even though we know it's the truth. Now, what I want to do is I want to share this video with you that I was listening to and I was watching earlier. This video is about infiltration. And this is going to tie into the topic that I'm speaking about, which is called the American Dream, or a or is it a nightmare? This is an ex-FBI informant, and he talks about the infiltration of quote unquote black culture, which I say the melanated community. And then I even want to talk further in depth about, do we even have a culture? What is the culture? Because, in my personal opinion, hip hop is not a culture, you all. And that's just how I really feel about it. So let me go ahead and share my screen and let's get into it. All right. I don't feel that hip hop, and I'm so tired of people referencing hip hop as a culture. I don't believe hip hop is a culture. I really don't. I believe that hip hop has influenced society, but it's not a culture, you all. When you think about culture, you think about the Mediterranean, the Caribbean culture. You think about the Chinese has a culture, the Asians have a culture. Black culture, I don't think it exists. Hip hop culture, that's no, that's not a culture. It's an influence. So let's go ahead and hear what he has to say. Now, hopefully, I can play this video without having any issues. You know what I mean when I say that. Yeah, hip hop is not a culture. Exactly right, knowledge seeker, because so many other races have hijacked it. What can I say? It's an influence. Hip hop is an influence, and it does influence society. I'm saying that because of the lyrics, because of just the trajectory of where it has gone over the last 20 years. People used to actually talk about something of substance in the rap lyrics. Now they are not. They sound brain dead. Everyone sounds alike. They're clones of one another. And a lot of this stuff it could be written by AI, because that's the next thing. They're going to have AI, artificial intelligence, writing song lyrics. And I think there was an interview where Neo was actually speaking about that. How did he feel about it? Someone that is actually a songwriter for the industry versus having AI write music and lyrics. I don't know. It's very questionable, and it's disheartening to see that you would rather have a computer, to orchestrate a lot of things that come from the creativity of the human mind. But with all that being said, let's get into the infiltration of the FBI, you all.
In 1978, I interviewed a man who worked as an informer for the FBI during the 1960s. His name is Dothard Perry, also known as Ed Riggs, also known as Bill Perry, also known as Othello.
How were you paid? The pay was always in cash. Cash, and you would sign a card. It would go like this. A rendezvous or a drop-off point would be picked out either by yourself or the agent. You would meet the agent there. Usually it would be in a vehicle. You get in the vehicle, he would.
Now, I'm pausing it because YouTube is extremely sensitive when it comes to me and my channel.
Hand you the money. He would tell you first to count the money. He would tell you the amount while you counted it. If the amount was there, he would then bring out a card. On that card would be for the week of such and such. In other words, the week was dated. So and so has been paid the amount of. Then you would sign the card, and then the agent would sign the card. The reason for this is that if All of a sudden the IRS became very interested about where you were getting all this extra money from. You could always tell them to go back to the bureau, and the bureau would have your cards on file.
So you see here, they are circumnavigating a track record of the FBI informant being paid by the FBI because they don't want the IRS to know where he's getting the funding from. Okay. So that right there is definitely a financial scheme and it is illegal.
I see. Were there such things as bonuses?
Oh, yes.
What were they paid for?
Bonuses were paid for, suppose while you were meeting with, or you were at a meeting with Bobby Seals, Chulai of the Red Army happened to come to the meeting too, which is something which would be a new development. That's bonus time.
In other words, a hot piece of information.
Hot piece, very hot piece.
Now, why am I bringing up this video when we talk about the American dream? The reason that I'm playing this video is because they sell this nonsense to you when you're in school. They tell you, go to school, get an education, get a degree, get an associate's, get a bachelor's, get a master's, get a PhD, which is your doctorates, right? Get all of these degrees and qualifications. But at the same time, they're telling you to do this. They're on the other side, circumnavigating the American people, and they have the FBI infiltrating the quote unquote melanated people. And they use one of your very own to do so. So when we paint this portrait of the American dream, and we're talking about the indigenous people of this land, which are the Native Americans, which are the melanated people, how can you have settlers and colonizers to come over here, take over the land, sell us back our own stuff, our own land, and then paint a picture of the American dream that they don't even allow us to have because they're so focused on infiltrating the culture with people that look like the likes of us, people that we entrust to do their dirty work. This is how I am tying this into the quote unquote American dream that we're not privy to, but a lot of the immigrants are because they get a lot of the immigrant funding, because they're able to start businesses and get loans over here, because they're able to take over the gas stations, because they have all the nail salons and the hair shops. And that fact that they are over in some of the most highly affluent neighborhoods, okay, driving Mercedes, driving BMWs, driving, expensive cars, while the melanated people that get these degrees are never going to be paid as much as their counterparts unless they are sellouts, unless they kiss a double S. All right. And you have to take a lot off of these people. And it's just not one person that is isolated in the situation. No, this is a nationwide event. This is international. How do we know? Go to the NAACP and see who's standing in line filing complaints. I've had many conversations about people about this, and their sentiments are all the same. They are harassed, they are targeted on jobs, they are paid less. They are made to do more work. And this goes on a multinational level. And not to mention, on top of all of that, you want to have an FBI informant infiltrating the quote unquote melanated culture. So, what is so prevalent about us that they try to paint this picture of an American dream, which is an American nightmare for some of us and a dream for others? And it will only be a dream for the people that want it and can never attain it. You tell me, where does the antics lie here? So I'm going to let this man continue to talk because he's going to give you a more clear understanding and picture of how deceitful these individuals are.
Did you ever suffer pangs of conscience?
Quite a few times. Quite a few times. I still suffer pains of conscience. I suffer from the fact that a lot of people trusted me and I misused that trust. I suffer from the fact that a lot of information that I gave out was the undoing of certain groups or certain people. Uh, I suffer from the fact that I'm on the run constantly. Uh, I have no real life to speak of. Uh,
You have no family life, really. You have a wife.
no, I don't have a wife. I do have a child. Uh, I can't see her.
Now, he goes into talking about the fact that he has a child. He can't see the child because basically he demonstrates that every time he tries to see the child, the FBI comes around. So he's not able to see the child like he wants to. Because basically, what he knows is that they're watching him now that he's come out and started revealing the truth. Okay. You're always going to be a target when you start telling the truth. This is why, whenever you're on a job, and I've had this conversation with multiple people, if you are one of the people that speak truth like I do, you're going to be targeted on multiple levels. You're going to be targeted on your job. You're going to be targeted by HR, by the manager. You're going to be targeted by other individuals. The people that talk behind the scenes, but they're scared to actually speak out for themselves, they're all going to turn their backs on you. So now that he's come to his senses and he's no longer bought out by the system, he's a target. So he can't visit his child, is what he's telling you, because when he does, the FBI comes swarming around.
That often. I have to stay away from them because once I come around, uh, the bureau shows up and harassment starts. Uh, I have very few close personal friends, no one to really confide in. Uh, it's uh, it's like being on the outside of a glass jar and everything is happening inside the jar, but you're on the outside. You can see it happening, but you can't participate.
Why have you decided to talk to me?
Uh, for the simple reason, I think this information should be getting out, should be put out to the public. I think not only black people, but everyone should become aware of what.
Now, listen to what he said. Not only black people, but they're the main target. We already know. We've always been the target. But everybody should know the truth. So when people want to come into my Instagram page and my comment section because I posted a clip of Donald Trump talking about the media being fake news, talking about the fact that he was advocating against mandated things that people don't want in their bodies, they want to get hypersensitive. But you have to understand, this is not just about a Democratic situation. It's not just about a Republican situation. This is about a civil rights situation. And until people can understand that on a higher level of understanding, don't come on my freaking Instagram page with stupid comments, because I can read you and I will read you, but a lot of people don't deserve my energy. And so, if I got time today, I might do it, but sometimes I don't even think you're worthy of the attention. Let's continue to listen to this guy.
Your so-called law enforcement agencies do to so-called enforce the law. Because between you, myself, and the audience, I've seen more felons in law enforcement than I have in prison.
Many would say, well, look, you yourself just got through saying that the DLA was involved in criminal activity. What's wrong with wanting to put them in prison? How would you answer them?
I would answer him in this way. First off, we have to understand why they did what they did. But I'm not even gonna go. I'm not even gonna go off into that psychological hoo-ha. What I'm gonna say is, when you become just as bad as the people that you go after, then there's nothing gained.
All right, so I'm going to kind of fast forward through this a little bit so we can get to the point. But basically, they had him spying on basically the melanated people because he looks like melanated people. What he was saying is they got them to trust him because he was in the community, and they had him to burn down one of the theaters. Okay. And this was a theater of notoriety where Sammy Davis Jr. used to actually visit there. People were teaching classes. People were very active in the community. And the reason for this is basically it's the same thing as the Tulsa, Oklahoma bombings, the same thing when they had the situation with Black Wall Street, and they shut that down. They don't want melanated people to get ahead, which goes back to the subject matter of the American dream. Who is that really targeted for? So when they are selling these lies to the children and students in school, as you grow up as an adult, you start to realize that there is a bigger picture here, and there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes to keep you trapped in a system with a full of infiltrators. You all, let's continue to go on here.
The understanding, like when, okay, you have an organization like uh, uh, Leroy Jones Black House. You remember that? Okay, Leroy Jones's place, which was done on the thing of tribalism. That's where I first heard the word Kintu, Mantu, Huntu, Hintu. These words of the African continuum. I learned that from an agent. He ran it down to me. They make in-depth studies of the personalities of the people they're dealing with too, culturally. It always helps it's a thing of you can take their culture and use it against them.
Mm-hmm.
How large would you say an extensive a collection on our culture would you say the FBI has? Would you rate it as large as a particular library, like the Schomburg Library in Harlem? Or...
I would rate it better. I would rate it better, and the fact is that they go into details that we probably would overlook.
He actually said they have a black desk, black DESK, because they are studying the melanated community so heavily that a lot of these infiltrators can give you more information on your own history, culture, and background than you can. This is how in depth they study. They say know thyself. You also have to know thy enemy. So they have to study the opposition, you all. And I want to know how many of our own people actually really study our real history. We're being taught by informants. We're being taught by the oppressor. We're being informed by the opposition. That's a very dangerous position to be in. And when they paint this picture of the American dream, who are they targeting that at? Because that doesn't seem to be targeted at people such as us if we have to be infiltrated. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that? It doesn't make sense to me. Knowledge Seeker said, people got to wake up. This is the world we live in. And you said, preach the truth. Thank you so much for that. You said, they always love threatening your loved ones. That's right. And they said, oh my God, there was such a strong European fascination with Black people. There's always been a fascination with us, always. And there will always be a fascination with us because we are very heavily special people. Some of us are very special individuals, and they know this.
Uh, Will Heaton used to meet me in different places.
Who?
Will Heaton, that was one of my supervising agents. There is a certain bar in the Los Angeles area where people into Black cultural things met, and Will Heaton used to meet me there. And he would go into very long and tiring conversations with some very articulate brothers about culture, African culture, and Afro American culture.
Tell me about some of the cultural organizations that you infiltrated and what you did.
PASLA, Mafunde, Watts Writers Workshop, which they
The
have
Watts Writers Workshop.
yes, Watts Writers Workshop, which was one of the oldest established Black uh, writers workshop.
That place was burned down.
Yeah, uh, the bureau had it burnt down.
How do you know that?
I know because I participated. I did the arson.
You burned down the Watts Writers Workshop.
Yes.
Why did they want it to go?
At the time, funding had been cut to the workshop, had been cut out, but it looked like there was a possibility of a grant being given back to the workshop. And if there was no theater, there would be no grant.
How did you do it?
2 cans of kerosene, uh, Purex bottle, gasoline, and a flare, highway flare.
Why didn't you use more sophisticated stuff?
Oh no, 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 no. You're never overly sophisticated. It's too obvious. Uh, this way, you make it look like maybe somebody in the neighborhood that got kicked out of theater at one time got mad and came and burned the damn theater up. That kind of thing.
But you were involved.
Now, does this sound familiar? Do y'all remember when the George Floyd riots took place? Do you remember when they took a whole drove of bricks and cements and set it in the middle of the street? Where do you think these cement blocks derived? Do you think the people would be able to have the equipment to have these cement blocks sent out into the middle of the street? Where did they get the resources to do that? And then they had these men dressed in black throwing cements through the glass of the establishments and the buildings, and they were trying to make it seem like the melanated people were the ones causing this destruction, burning up their own neighborhoods. And yet you had infiltrators, you had George Soros funding this, people were being paid. It was a pyramid scheme. I talked about this on my other channel. Okay. And actually, I have a clip of one of the guys saying that, yeah, you can get paid for it and you can actually bring people up under you. It's like a pyramid scheme. So if you think that this is not taking place today, you are heavily mistaken. This was going on back in the 70s. This was going on in the 80s, the 90s. So what makes you think it's still not going on? Oh, it is. And not just that, now they're using some of your most favorite quote unquote celebrities to do their dirty work. They're going to show you, like Knowledge Seeker said, Sweetie eating a burger for a McDonald's commercial so that you can send your children to these fast food restaurants to eat this quote unquote food, if you will.
Involved in this theater? I mean, didn't it get to you at all? What you were?
Hey man, that got to me a great deal. I love that theater. I built the stage.
You built the stage.
Oh yeah. When I got to the workshop, the stage the original stage that had been built needed an extension on it. The original part of the stage was in terrible condition. They had no lighting system. I put the lighting system in myself. I put the stage in myself. And that was a stage, man. And that was a theater. It's a
Ridiculous.
nice theater.
Who was the director of that workshop?
Harry Dolan.
Harry Dolan. Some very, very well-known artists supported that workshop, gave
Some
money
very
to it.
some very well-known artists came out of the Watts Writers Workshop. Glenn Tubman, Yaphet Kotto, Sidney Poitier used to come down there and give a class. Sammy Davis Jr. used to come down there all the time. Quincy Jones used to come there and give music classes. We had our own 8-track studio setup for.
And there you have it. Some of your most notable, okay, writers, celebrities, producers, musical talent came out of that theater or visited that theater or had some type of interest in the theater, and he burned it down because he was basically an infiltrator sent by the FBI. So if that's going on, you can only imagine what's taking place in today's time. And this interview, you can tell it's kind of old because look at the just look at the camera. Now everything is pretty much shot in like 4K. So this interview has some age on it. And I'm just I'm making that point to let you know that if they were doing that back then, you can only imagine what they are doing today. Let's keep going.
On his release from prison, a certain sister uh, made herself known to him at a nightclub.
All right. So now he's saying how the FBI wanted some information from someone's sister. He was friends with the brother, but he was infiltrating their situation. So he had to grow close to the sister to get some information out of her to use against her brother. So listen to this.
Whereupon he moved in with her, and she picked up names, telephone numbers, information, that kind of thing. That lasted for a good 3.5 months.
Was this an unusual thing, or did this happen
No,
often?
no, that happens all the time.
Did you yourself get involved in doing that?
Yes.
Give me an example.
There was a gentleman that was on trial in Los Angeles that belonged to the BLA that had been busted in a southern state for a bank robbery, but was brought with two other people to Los Angeles to stand trial for the machine gunning of a police officer in Los Angeles. I was supposed to worm my way into the affections of his sister, and whatever it took to get the information that I needed as far as what kind of defense they planned to use as to turn this information over to the federal prosecution.
Did you do it?
Uh, I got the information, and thank God I didn't have to go through with uh, the actual thing of sexual activity.
What do you mean, thank God?
Uh, the sister was rather unappealing.
How did you justify to the organizations in which you had infiltrated yourself that you were living on an $800 a week stipend or on
Listen to this now.
an $800 a week standard of living when most of them were living hand to mouth?
Well, hey, brother, I'm hustling, I mean, hey, man, sell a little this on the side, little that on the side, I get over, that kind of thing. In other words, ain't nobody's business but mine where I get the money. So, everybody took it for granted that I was possibly doing a little dealing on the side, that kind of thing. Then also, uh, everybody liked me for the simple reason that I would do things that I didn't have to do. I would go out of my way. Like Mafunde would have a pageant and they needed someone to do the sound setup for him. And I'd say, of course, I'll do it for you, that kind of thing. I was very, very well liked at one time.
I think you get the gist of what's going on here. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen on this particular video. But just to let you know that there are agents and informants in the community. And so, it's very important that people understand that everybody, just because they look like you, all right, they are not for you. What do they like to say? Kinfolk ain't always your skin folk. Skin folk ain't your kinfolk. So just because, all right, someone has melanin and they're, have a tint in their skin and they look like you, does not mean they are for you. You got to be very careful out here, y'all. All right. And you said you were just about to bring up Antifa. I forgot about that. Exactly right. George Soros funded those riots. He sure did. And then during the George Floyd protest, that's right. Did he say Sidney Poitier? Yes, he did. And I've heard rumors that Dr. King was an agent. He was. Okay, he was. He was an agent. And actually, there are some videos that I had listened to back in like 2017 about him and his family. I don't even know if those videos can be found. YouTube has probably scrubbed the internet, has probably taken them down. But yes, he was an agent. That's why when people keep pushing the narrative about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I really question a lot of the facts that circumvent him, because was he really a doctor? Did he really have a PhD? Where did he get his credentials? People just go along with a narrative and they run with it. And that can be very dangerous when you're believing a narrative that the oppressor has painted for you. My whole thing is, why would they give him a platform? Why would they allow him to have media coverage if he was so much for the melanated people? But then behind the scenes, you have agents that are infiltrating the people, and they don't want to send him to the forefront and put media coverage on him. They want to keep him undercover. You have to know how the government works. They always like to hide in plain sight. So anytime they push someone, a quote unquote leader, in front of you, be very cautious. Be very careful. It's a distraction. And I'm there's a such thing as COINTELPRO. You all have heard of it. That is another topic that I would like to discuss on this channel. Maybe one day this week we can get into that. Um, but yeah, anytime they push someone in front of you, you have to ask why. Just like Barack Obama. Okay, I was the ones believing, the whole situation about, oh yeah, I'm going to vote for him. This is our first, BLACK president. No, he was pushed for a reason. What did he do for melanated people? But what did he do for the LGBTQ community? You got to think about it, right? Because deep down inside, that's what he represents. That's who he is. Him and quote unquote Michelle are LGBTQ. That's why Joan Rivers is no longer here, because she revealed that in her interview. And so, basically they made her seem like she succumbed to her injuries when she had surgery. But we know what that was really about. Just like the guy from Mob Deep, Prodigy, they tried to say he choked on the egg in a hospital. But if you go back and listen to some of his videos, he was very enlightened. Prodigy was very awakened, very much aware of what was going on. And I did not know that. And you can find videos of him early in the 2000s where he's telling you that he has a 7-year-old training, learning how to use guns so that his 7-year-old knows how to defend himself in case someone ever enters into the house. A lot of people are not talking like that. They're talking about Cardi B. They're talking about twerking. They're talking about Jordans. They're talking about weed. They're talking about hair weave. They're talking about the city girls. You know what I mean? So you have little girls out here twerking in music video, and like they're in a music video. My friend that works at the school was just telling me that one of the girls has Down syndrome and she's in the classroom twerking, you all. Now, that's not cute. That's nothing to be proud of. There's a time and place for everything. And why is your daughter in school twerking? But see, this is what the infiltration has done. And people think it's cute. People think it's entertaining. No, it's only entertaining when it's um, basically at the melanated culture's demise. That's when it's entertaining. But when it starts spreading to other cultures, we'll see how entertaining it is then. There's even videos that were taken down because I can't find them about how the music industry was infiltrated, how they had a secret meeting amongst the top tier businessmen that were actually um they're putting their money into building prisons and jails based off of rap music. And one of the guys felt that he didn't see, and they're going to mess with my video for this, but one of the guys, he came out and was talking about it. They were sworn to secrecy, that they would not speak on these things. And he said he just could not go along with it. He came out and he did a radio interview. It was on YouTube. I don't even know if I can find that interview anymore because I would play it. And he said he just couldn't do it. He couldn't go along with it. It was immoral. It was unethical. And he had to say something about it. This is how they plot on you behind your back while you're sitting up here shucking and jiving for the enemy and the oppressor. You're trying to impress someone that wants to destroy you and your people, your family, your culture, all because you want to get some money. You're a sellout. So when we talk about the American dream, who are we really painting this picture for? Because it's not for the Native Americans. It's not for the indigenous people of this land. Is it for the immigrants that are getting the funding by Joe Biden? And it's not even about a political warfare. It's about the socioeconomic structure of what they've done to these people. And I'm going to show you another clip of how the ghetto was formulated. Since everybody wants to talk about living in the projects and they want to celebrate the ghetto like it's something to be proud of, who wants to live in rat infestation? Who wants to sleep where it smells like urine in a building on the elevator? That is nothing to brag about. So let's see what you're talking about in the comment section, knowledge seeker. I've always felt something was fishy about Dr. King. Very fishy. Don't believe the hype. What was so special about what he did? He basically said at the end of it all that he led his people to a burning building. So basically, in so many words, he knew that he was being used. But once the government got finished and they were done with him, they had him killed, and then they blamed it on this other guy, but it was done by the government. Okay, that's what happened. He was assassinated. Yes, Kennedy, because he was a whistleblower. And please watch the video. It's called Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. You can find it right here on YouTube for free. It's a 3-hour documentary about what happened to JFK. Now, this was before my time, but why this video is so interesting is because you will be surprised at the extreme measures that the government will go through to trick the American people. I'm telling you, they will manipulate news footage right in front of your very eyes. They'll make you see things that you really didn't see. They will get rid of eyewitnesses. They will no longer be here. That happened in 9/11. Okay. And if you think I'm making it up, some of these videos are still on YouTube and they probably have scrubbed the internet for a lot of them. But a lot of those people talked about how the buildings were detonated. Okay. That was not a plane that hit the building. Those buildings were actually detonated. There was a detonation device that took those buildings down. That's what happened. The heat from the airplane did not make those buildings collapse. That is not true. Let's keep going on. And there was another video that I watched talking about it. I'm pretty sure they probably stripped that video down. I saw that in like 2015, but I know like in 2011 things started coming into fruition about 9/11 because I was watching a Netflix documentary. It's called In Plain Sight, everybody. If you ever want to see it, it's called In Plain Sight. Watch the video. I think Michael Moore actually talks about those videos. And they killed Marilyn Monroe because her and JFK was pillow talking and he told her some stuff. Wow, I didn't even know that, knowledge seeker. That is very interesting. Very interesting. Now let's move on to exhibit number 2. Okay, we're going to talk about Donald Trump again. I don't know why people are so in their feelings just for me playing a clip about Donald Trump. Y'all want to talk about him being a racist, he's this, he's that. But guess what? Donald Trump does. He speaks his mind. Now, how many people, how many presidents will actually speak their mind? Because Obama won't. Now, I'm going to share. I'm laughing because he's funny. Yeah, I think Donald Trump is like 77 years old. I looked up his birthday. They said he's born on June the 14th. So he's a Gemini. If you know anything about them, they have multiple personalities. They can be very blunt. They have issues. And so let me go ahead. The Trump hate is big. It is. It is. And I'm not saying that I hate him. I don't know the man. And the celebrities are not going to convince me that he's a racist because Snoop Dogg said he's a racist. How do you know he's a racist? Why was he at Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown's wedding? Because that's in Bobby Brown's autobiography. Why was he at their wedding if he's such a racist? That's what I want to know. Why was he communicating with a lot of these melanated celebrities if he's such a racist? Now, all of a sudden, when it's time for him to be the president, he's a racist. So let's see what Donald Trump has to say, you all.
An illegal foreign invasion of our country, allowing a record number of illegal aliens to storm across our borders. From all over the world they came. Under Biden's current policies, even though these millions of illegal border crossers have entered the country unlawfully,
I'm sorry. He's funny to me. He's always been funny every time I see him address the news media. He called them illegal border crossers. I've never in my life. Oh my goodness. May 30th, 2023. This was just some months ago, you all, back in the spring.
All of their future children will become automatic U.S. citizens. Can you imagine? They'll be eligible for welfare, taxpayer funded health care, the right to vote, chain.
See, now that's what I'm talking about right there. My whole point is this with the American dream. Who are you giving this American dream to? It's not the native indigenous people, right? Because you're giving foreigners these rights and you want to infiltrate the melanated culture. You want to infiltrate the quote unquote African American black culture and send FBI agents and informants their way. But when it comes to border control for the immigrants, nobody has anything to say about that. Nobody speaks up for the American, Native Americans of this land, which is us, melanated beings, indigenous people of this land. Nobody stands up for us. But when Trump says, okay, he's going to make America great again, what he's saying is America's going to take back this country because it's being overpopulated and it's being taken over by foreigners. Some of them are not even actual citizens, legalized citizens. They don't even have legalized papers. And people thought that he was just picking on Barack Obama. And I thought so too. I was like, oh, he's just picking on Barack Obama when they ran for the presidency back in 2008, I believe. I was like, oh, because he's melanated. But when he talked about Barack Obama's birth certificate, there were people that examined the legal documentation and said that the birth certificate of Barack Obama was altered. Barack Obama's real name is not Barack Obama, it's Barry Soetoro. Did you all know that? Go back and do some research. People keep talking about Tupac Shakur. I would even say that he's an FBI informant and implant because his real name was not Tupac Shakur. It was Lashane Parrish Crooks. Okay. So stop telling me about Biggie Smalls and Tupac and entertainers and rappers. That is not culture. That is hip hop influence. And people need to stop being so inundated with quote unquote entertainers. That right there is offensive. They're not politicians. You don't see the Asians having entertainers and sport broadcasters into basically standing up for them in politics, speaking up for them in politics. No, they have politicians speaking on their behalf. But American black people are the only people that will have the likes of a Cardi B telling you to vote for Joe Biden, Jay-Z and Beyonce talking about, oh yeah, vote for Hillary Clinton. When we know the Clintons have committed so many atrocious crimes, all you have to do is pull up the videos about their ties to the mafia. So when Trump talks about the fake media, why are people being so hypersensitive about the things that he's saying when the proof is right in front of your eyes? But then again, people don't even like to see the truth when it's in front of their eyes because they like to be told a beautiful lie. So you have to lie to them in a beautiful way and they'll believe it.
Migration and countless other government benefits, many of which will also profit the illegal alien parents. This policy is a reward for breaking the laws of the United States and is obviously a magnet helping draw the flood of illegals across our borders. They come by the millions and millions and millions. They come from mental institutions. They come from jails, prisoners, some of the toughest, meanest people you'll ever see. The United States is among the only countries in the world that says that even if neither parent is a citizen nor even lawfully in the country, their future children are automatic citizens the moment the parents trespass onto our soil.
All you have to do is be born on what they call natural American soil. You become a naturalized citizen because you were born here. So you have a lot of foreigners and immigrants that sneak over here illegally. Y'all remember Elian Gonzalez? They said he came over on like some type of inner tube and he was like 6 years old because his parents wanted him to have a better life. So they're sneaking over here and having children. They will risk whatever just so their children can be here and be an American citizen. Can we go over there and do the same thing in these other countries? Can we go over there and have a nail salon and they will buy from us? Can we go over there and have hair salons and hair shops and selling weave and they'll buy from us? No, because first of all, they're not over there putting foreign hair on top of their scalps. Okay, melanated women. They're not doing that. They don't have to go and wear fake lashes, fake nails, fake this, fake body parts, fake hair to feel that they are someone trying to look more Europeanized because they embrace themselves for who they are. But they can come over here and do it. And guess what you will do? Sell yourselves out, just like that FBI informant. But when a melanated person tries to speak truth, tries to have a business, do you support them or do you talk about them? See, this is what's wrong with American people. They've studied the melanated culture. He just told you they study you, they study your behavior. So, this is basically the perfect storm for you to continue to stay oppressed. And people don't read. People don't read the Willie Lynch letter. It's only 28 pages. People don't read how the white man became so rich. People don't read the makings of a slave. You know what I mean? Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. They don't want to read. They want to watch videos. They want to watch the City Girls twerk and Megan the Stallion. And they want to talk about Steve Harvey's relationship with Marjorie Harvey and Lori Harvey and how she was so wrong and how she treated Michael B. Jordan. He doesn't even really like melanated women like that. I don't even think he likes females like that, to be honest. Y'all are worried about the wrong things when your lives are closing down in front of you and shutting down. And you're so worried about celebrity gossip that are being used as pawns and puppets to keep you mentally enslaved, entertaining your thoughts, which you're not even using to make a better life for yourself or your children's future of the generations to come ahead. But yet your child can sit up there and twerk at school and probably don't even know how to multiply, add, divide, do fractions, algebraic or equations. Doesn't know anything about biology, doesn't know anything about chemistry, doesn't know how the body works, the brain works. What about psychology? These are things that you should be introducing your children to and telling them about how to start businesses, how to be an entrepreneur, how to work in unison with your other like minded, melanated people. Tell them stuff about politics. Politics isn't everything, but at least let them understand the three branches: the judicial, the executive, the legislative, all of these things. Most people don't even know how they work. Most people don't even go to their parent teacher association meetings because they are not tuned in to what their children are doing. You want to give them an iPad and a cell phone and let them be on social media. Let them be on YouTube to entertain themselves. You don't want to spend time with the child. Why? Because you out trying to get the bag, secure the bag. And then you have single mothers, once again, in melanated communities. That's all you hear about on the media, on Instagram, on Love and Hip Hop, on Real Housewives of Atlanta, single mothers, single parents. That's all they push. Yet and still, I'm going to say, when you go to Target at 2 o'clock in the day, go to Home Goods, go to these stores, and you will see other nationalities of women pushing baby strollers, casually shopping, okay? Even the Hispanics are with their counterparts, with all of their children in Walmart. When you see melanated women, usually they're by themselves yelling at the child in Walmart. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different scenario. Y'all, you cannot even afford to be worried about what Steve Harvey and Marjorie Harvey are going through right now. Because where is your husband? Where is your child's father? And when you start speaking like that, people get an attitude, they get hypersensitive. And why aren't you making better choices at the people you're selecting for your child's father? Now, things happen, people change, and you can't predict every single thing. But to make this a repetitive pattern, a generational curse that you refuse to break and blame everyone else, stop blaming everyone else. You cannot afford to do that if you care about your life. Now, let's get back to Donald Trump, you all.
As has been laid out by many scholars, this current policy is based on a historical myth and a willful misinterpretation of the law by the open borders advocates. There aren't that many of them around. It's amazing. Who wants this? Who wants to have prisoners coming into our country? Who wants to have people who are very sick coming into our country? People from mental institutions coming into our country.
All right, I think you get the gist of where he's going with this. All right. That is Donald Trump saying that he's going to end automatic citizenship for children that are undocumented, of undocumented parents. Now, people may disagree with that. A lot of people don't like Donald Trump, but I do understand where he's coming from when you look around and you see that your own melanated people, even if you're in a situation, you've been working in this country since the age of 15. I know I started working when I was 15. When you have been working for 20, 30 years, putting money into Social Security, what is it, FICA? Putting money into Medicare or Medicaid or whatever. They take the taxes out of your check before you get to see your check. And then you're saying by the time we get retirement age, we won't have Social Security benefits. But yet, and still, the foreigners can come over here and get all types of benefits, get health care. All right. You come over here. If you're single, if you don't have children, you might as well forget it, because if you file taxes, they're going to hit you up and tell you made too much. Don't work two jobs. Don't try to have a decent way of living for yourself, because if the government, if the IRS thinks you made too much, guess what you have to do? They want you to pay back taxes on what you earned. Who sets the precedence of saying that you made too much money? That's backwards. And people don't really fight for what's makes logical sense in this country. They don't fight for what's right, but you'll fight over stupid stuff because you don't like Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? You'll fight in my comment section on Instagram because you don't like that I posted a video of him talking about something that he said that he's going to do in the American society. Why are you focused on the wrong things? You need to get your priorities straight. So let's continue on here. So okay, Nalashik, you've been going off in the comment section. You said yeah, are you opening up the voice chat today? I definitely can. I definitely can. You said Trump is not a racist, but he definitely is a moron. And very comedic. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Okay, I've never been offended by Donald Trump. He makes me laugh. He makes me laugh too. Yeah, he's just very controversial. Yes, he is. Americans are in la la land. They are. And I've heard black people say they hate Trump because what he said about Mexicans. I'm like, who cares? Mexicans are worried about themselves. We need to worry about ourselves, because does anybody ever come to our aid unless they're an infiltrator? You know what I'm saying? I think I got one more clip, knowledge seeker, and then I'm going to open it up. Actually, yeah, I have one more clip that I'm going to play for you. Okay. Actually, two more. And I'm going to try to make it really quickly, and then I'm going to open it up so you can come up here. But yeah, man, like people need to really like take inventory of what's important out here, and stop with the nonsense. This clip is only 2 minutes and 31 seconds. I don't even know if I'm going to play the whole thing, but since we're on the subject matter of talking about immigration, I'm going to play this clip. Okay? Now, this is a Venezuelan, and they came over to America trying to have a better life. Because I ask a lot of people, what brings you here? I speak to everybody that's from everywhere, people that have been from England, people from Liberia, Nigeria. I ask, what brings you over here? And they'll tell me, because I'll just be curious and I want to know. Not saying that they don't belong here, not saying they can't come here, but I just want to know what made you come to America. Because if you ask me, America's very low vibrational. All right. Hopefully you can see my screen here. I think it's showing. Let me make this bigger. All right. So this is a Venezuelan saying that they regret.
4 months ago, this 19-year-old Venezuelan migrant arrived in Washington on one of the initial 120 buses sent by Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott. Abbott launched the program in April to protest Democrat President Joe Biden's immigration policies. He chartered buses to send recently arrived migrants from the southern border to Washington. Another Republican governor, Arizona's Doug Ducey, followed Abbott's lead. In May, he also began sending migrants to the nation's capital. At the DC bus station back in April, Rosa, which is not her real name, told VOA about her plans.
Work.
All right, she's going to start complaining. And like when I went to the comment section, you should see all of the American people that berated her. They were so frustrated and irritated by her because she was like complaining about coming to America. But let me let you hear what she has to say.
Start fulfilling my dreams, my goals that I have here.
Rosa and her partner's journey to reach the United States was difficult. 4 times during their migration, Rosa thought she was going to lose her baby. The couple crossed the mountainous and dangerous Darien Gap jungle in Colombia. And then
Now, first of all, nobody told them to go through a jungle in Colombia and cross mountains while she's pregnant. I don't know if she did this while she was pregnant or not, but nobody told her to do this. So let's continue on, you all. She went through Colombia to Panama to Costa Rica to Nicaragua to the Honduras to get to America. This looks like the path that she took.
9 countries to face a complex immigration
All
process.
right. So she went through 9 countries, you all. Honduras to El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, and they misspelled that, into Mexico. See, this is why Donald Trump was talking about those borders, that border control, because she came through Mexico, you all. Then she got to America and started complaining.
In the United States.
No era lo que pensaba.
It's not what I thought. A lawyer charges you $10,000 to work with you on an asylum case, then 10 years to be able to leave the country. I don't have a passport. If you don't have a passport here, you're nobody.
Tienes que tener pasaporte.
The couple says they are battling a legal system they were not prepared to face.
Yes, I regret having come to the United States. Everyone thinks that once you arrive in the country, you will see buildings like the ones in New York City.
While some migrants might regret their migration,
Again, propaganda techniques by who? Who controls the propaganda? So we already know that they control the media. So they make America look appealing to the outside world, okay, to the other countries. They come over here thinking that everything's going to look like this lavish thing that they see on TV. That is not the case. Everywhere in the world has its good parts and its bad parts. You have your wealthy, and you're going to have the people that unfortunately are homeless, people that are out here on the streets. That's going to be across the board everywhere. It doesn't matter what country you go to. And so I don't know why they're painting this picture to everybody. I guess they're trying to make America look so great, look so good to the outside world. But people are suffering in every single country. The only people that are really prospering and really thriving is the ones that are in the higher tier of the socioeconomic status. And that's what people have to understand. It's deeper than race. Unfortunately, the melanated people are the last on the totem pole across the entire globe when it comes to that, because we're targeted the most. And it's what they wanted. It's the picture that America wanted to paint against the Native Americans, okay? Because they came over here stealing from the Native Americans. So, this is why they always have to keep us in a perpetuated state of hatred. So let's continue on.
migration decision, Border Patrol officers say they encountered 207,416 migrants along the southwest border, a 14% drop from May. Of those, 92,274 people were immediately expelled from the United States under a health order named Title 42.
Una cosa es que yo lo cuente.
All right. I know speak a Spanish, okay? No habla español. I don't know what you're speaking, but I don't speak that. So I looked at the comment section here, and we can't go over to other countries and, they just cater to us and they just have channels for us. But over here, they have Spanish channels. Over here, you get paid more if you're bilingual and you'll speak it a Spanish. You get paid more for that. We can't go over there. And you think they're going to pay melanated people more? That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Okay. Someone said if she regrets it, then send her back immediately. It's like giving a starving person a sandwich and they complain that it's not toasted or organic. I will pay for her ticket back. The arrogance of these people, it's outrageous. So someone said here, look at this. This was 3 months ago, you all. I cannot make this up in the comment section. There is no American dream. These people need to spread the word to their country. There is no more room at the end. And somebody said, being an immigrant myself, I find it difficult to feel any sympathy for this woman. So there you have it. So, you know what I'm saying? The war on immigration, y'all. The war on immigration and the American dream. One more thing I'm going to share, and then I'm going to open it up for the panel if anybody wants to come up. This one right here is how the ghetto was created. Okay. Thanks to your government. Thanks to your government. All right. So when people want to talk about, oh, I'm from the projects, I'm from the jacks, I'm from the ghetto, y'all want to sit up here and brag about the atrocious way of life and living. That's nothing to be proud of. You should want a better life for your children, a better life for yourselves, a better life for your future generation. You want to do better, not stay in the hood and prove it's all good. Like, this is, look, oh my God. And they're showing Tupac when it first comes on. I can't make this up. Am I sharing my screen? Can you see this? I don't know if you can see it or not. Hold on. Hold on. I might have to click out of it. Okay. Let If y'all can hear me, I am back. I'm back. I'm back. I don't know what just happened, but my whole situation just went out just now. So I'm going to try to get my camera to work. Just a second. All right. If the camera doesn't work, F it. We'll just rock it out like this. But I'm going to share the screen. Just a second. Okay. Hold on. Before I share the screen, let me go to where I was trying to go. So, all right, back here again. We're going to copy and go here. All right, we're going to go there. I'm going to try to get the camera to work. But let me pull this up for y'all. Yes, Tinkapoo. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Let's go to present. You can hear me good. My apologies. I don't know what just happened. All I saw was an error message. That's what I saw come up. It was an error message. Okay, I think this is it right here. All right, we're going to skip. I'm going to make this bigger. Okay, you can see it. This is Tupac. All this nonsense, right?
Conditions look like for many Black Americans, it's pretty bleak. And that's by design. In addition to artists cataloging their very personal experiences, it's been proven that the modern phenomenon of concentrated Black poverty was an intentional government-sponsored institution. This is in part why President Biden issued an executive order back in January, intended to right the historical wrongs Black folks have faced when it comes to housing and home ownership in this country. But first, let's take it back.
The dawn of the 20th century, African Americans in major cities lived scattered throughout the city. They weren't segregated particularly. It's only with the Great Migration of 6 to 7 million African Americans north and west escaping the South, the predominant response of the United States government and state and local governments to the Great Migration was to contain Black people in their own neighborhoods. And HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, was...
All right. So basically, you see what we're getting at here. These places where majority of the low income melanated people, this was actually orchestrated by the government, you all. So it's not like this is something to be highly proud of. This is something that you should want to get away from. So when they talk about the American dream, okay, who are they targeting? Do they really want equality for all? Or is this just a narrative that they sell to certain individuals? Because I'm trying to understand here, if America and justice is for all, you remember when we had to do the pledge of allegiance in school, and they said for liberty and justice for all. Who were they talking to? And they made us put our right hand over our hearts. You see what I'm saying? Some nonsense, y'all.
Was particularly a part of this role. With the precursors to HUD, introduced and encouraged racially restrictive covenants, redlining of every major city where African Americans landed. The federal government was a sponsor of urban renewal, infamously called Negro removal by the great James Baldwin.
Urban renewal, which means moving the Negroes out. It means Negro removal. That is what it means.
That is what it means. Just everything is targeted against who? Basically against melanated people, you all. And Knowledge Seeker, you said, how can we have an American dream when they orchestrated a disgusting way of living for Black people? Yes, in every way, shape, and form. In every way, shape, and form, through way of the medical industry, which we talked about last night, through the socioeconomic injustice. Stop, Prancer. Sorry, they're fighting. Through basically shelter living in neighborhoods, and just on jobs. We talked about the corporate plantation in America. So yeah, this happens a lot. And let me just put this up here, because we're using this for educational purposes. No, we're not trying to copyright anything, YouTube. I don't know, they might act stupid.
The federal government is an accomplice to this fact.
That so-called urban renewal also included a federally sponsored interstate highway system, which was intentionally designed to mow through vibrant Black neighborhoods. Take Miami, for example. 2 highways, I-95 and I-395, bulldoze right through the predominantly Black and low-income Overtown neighborhood, previously called Colored Town during segregation.
Oh, let's go back and see if we can read that. Hold on. Right here. Okay, let's see. It says, at the time of Miami's incorporation in 1896, the fortunes of Black Americans had declined to their lowest level since the Civil War. The heady illusions and notable accomplishments of the freedmen during Reconstruction had succumbed to the harsh realities of economic dependency and the restoration of white democratic rule in the South. So basically what they're saying is that even though that the melanated people were thriving economically, they had befallen into economic hardship and started depending on the white people to provide their economic needs, basically, so welfare and stuff like that. And that's a very dangerous situation to be in when you start being dependent on someone. They talk about codependent relationships, being dependent, being an independent woman. That's only notorious in the melanated community. Oh, don't depend on no man. Every other nationality or every other ethnic race, it's okay for them to depend on the man, except for if you're a melanated female, you need to be independent. And the reason for this is because when people have dependency on someone economically, then they have rulership over them. You have a dependency, you have a need, and they can dictate you. And so when that happens, you start becoming complacent. A lot of melanated people are complacent with this way of living. Um, so then you see here, it says democratic rule in the South. So this is why I don't subscribe to being a Democrat. So stop texting my phone. And then, it's time to vote. So all of a sudden now they act like they have care and concern about you. Increasingly, Blacks found themselves scapegoats for political and economic tensions and targets of virulent new doctrines of racial inferiority, resulting in widespread disenfranchisement, segregation, which they call Jim Crow legislation, and increasing white intimidation and violence in Florida and elsewhere in the South. The problems worsened in the early decades of the 20th century, a period that one historian has aptly described as the nadir of race relations in Florida and the nation, you all. So I think you get the gist of where we're going with this when we speak on the American dream, okay? And who's targeted here. Now I'm going to open up the panel if anybody would like to come up and voice your opinions and your concerns. So, knowledge seeker, if you're in the building, feel free. Let's see here. And okay, I have to go here to the comment section. And right there, we have it. Okay. So, if you want to come up, feel free to click the link and come on up and join us. And feel free to voice your opinions, your concerns, your questions, whatever have you. Okay. But I just wanted to come on here. I didn't want to keep this broadcast going too long. I've already been on here for about an hour and 37 minutes. I really wanted to do an hour and keep it there. But again, I've opened up the panel, Knowledge Seeker. If you hear you want to come up, I don't know if you left out or what happened. Um, feel free to come up. Oh, there you are. Okay. It's not showing you. Okay, there you go. Knowledge Seeker, how are you? I'm going to bring you on up.
Hello, hello. Is my audio coming in good?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. How are you today?
I'm very blessed. It's good to be, back doing this thing. It's been a while. We're dusting off the cobwebs as usual. I
Yes.
missed the last two live streams. I just been had to catch some rest. I've just been, doing a lot lately, moving stuff
Mm-hmm.
around my apartment, making sure, doing some spring cleaning, moving stuff around, and
Mm.
then I had no energy to check my phone to see if you had went live because after I had got done cleaning behind my couch, organizing my clothes, I had to just lay down, and take a nap for the rest of the night.
I
But
know that's right.
I'm well rested today, and I'm like, okay, let's do your feelings Friday and talk about the real stuff in the world, though. So it's good to be.
Yes. Glad to have you. Congratulations on your apartment and your moving. And I hope everything is going very fluid for you and smooth.
Thank you, thank you,
Yes. That's always a great thing when you have a new environment, new establishment. You get to decorate, organize. Sounds really nice.
thank you, thank you.
Yes, you're
Always,
welcome.
always time for new beginnings to do
Yes,
something different in life before
that's right. Absolutely. So, what are your thoughts? What are your opinions? What are your concerns with regard to tonight's topic?
it's so funny you're talking about this. This literally been on my mind though because I have to keep myself balanced on the task though. But every day I wake up, I'm like this whole matrix. It's just all a lie and a hoax. It's not really built for the odds in our favor. And we've basically been lied to. And I do think that the deception is bigger in like all Americans, though we all have been lied to, but the deception about the American dream is definitely like ingrained into black people's minds. But then, you know, we're not we're always told you go to college, you do this, you do that, then you get to elevate and be something big. But the odds will never be in our favor because they don't like us. So we're in an environment where people hate you,
Hmm.
and a lot of people don't realize that. And yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, and I think that a lot of times we are overlooked. Like, we come across as complaining. I remember actually taking, let me see, when I was taking a college class, and it was for English, for something, some type of literature class. And we had to read this passage, and it was talking about like the Native Americans, and they were talking about like how they were being mistreated, how the colonizers came, how they came and just settled the land and blah blah blah. And one of the Caucasian students spoke out to the class when the teacher asked them what were their thoughts. And they were like, what are they complaining for? What are they complaining about? And the entire class started laughing. And I didn't think it was funny. And most of the people there were Caucasians. And we had like a few specks of melanated people in there. Nobody else spoke up and said anything. And I really wanted to say something because I felt offended by that comment, because it's basically like you're overlooking what you have done, what your people have done, and you're not understanding of how this has impacted other people's lives, and you benefit off of this every single day. All you have to do is go through the neighborhoods. I'm a realtor. You can clearly see, you talk to people. You can see how the melanated people are economically disenfranchised. You can see how when you do open houses and see who shows up to the open houses, most of those people are Asians that can afford these nice neighborhoods, or they're Middle Eastern, um, they're Caucasian, maybe a very select small few are melanated, but most of them cannot afford a lot of these houses. And now houses are starting off for a single family home at $400,000 and up if you want a two-story in this city. And honestly, like that's just $100,000 shy of $500,000. So basically, to be a homeowner in America, you have to really like have a lot of money, and you have to have a lot of financial discipline. And the cost of real estate is never going to go down. It's always going to continue to go up, but it's getting very scary out here for a lot of people, because I hear people saying that they want to own a home. They're renting right now for like thousands of dollars. Some people are renting for like $2,000, and depending on where you live, it could be higher. But I talked to a girl, she was renting for like $2,000 for a two-bedroom apartment, and the rent is just going to keep going up. So I'm just thinking to myself, if you're paying all this money for an apartment, you should be in a house. You should have something that you can actually build generational wealth off of. And I just think that a lot of our people have not been financially educated. A lot of information we are not privy to, we didn't know until later in life. People don't share the information or knowledge. Now, I have been lucky enough to run into certain individuals that have shared with me that were Caucasian, but a lot of our people don't have these conversations with one another. And that's another problem that's going on as well. But like you said, knowledge seeker, about the American dream, it's a portrait that they painted, but for who is this portrait directed to? Is it the immigrants? Is it the Caucasians? It's definitely not the melanated American people. Like you said, we are living in a country where we're being hated on. You're born as a baby coming into this world, and you have no control over your skin tone. You have no control over your ethnicity. But because you are of this certain ethnic background, you are going to be targeted. And it doesn't matter if it's in the corporate arena. It could be in the judicial system. It could be in the housing arena. It can be in a school. It can be in the medical profession. Like, any way, shape, or form you look at it, you're a target.
I
And that,
mean, just imagine the second you're born, there's a target on your back. Because I've been learning to like really go off on people who just say people of other races who say us as a melanated people we should feel this way or feel this way. Nobody should tell us how we should feel at all. Because imagine being born, the second you're born, there's a target on your back. I don't think any other race goes through that though. Imagine the second you're born, there's a target on your back that you're supposed to be dead by the time you're 21 or 16 or incarcerated before you're 21. All right, or a black girl's supposed to be pregnant before she's, like 20 and stuff like that. Though it's just like there's these stigmas on us. Though we're supposed to be murderers, gang bangers, thieves, and animals, and all, etc., etc. There's a target on your back. So when you're born, society already has an expectation for you and stuff like that. I've been told so many times, "Oh my God, you're so proper for a black guy." Oh, okay, I'm sorry, my nigga, I don't speak Compton because like I know how to code switch though. It's just like I know how to. It's so funny because when I have to do my business, I know how to code switch. I know how to be proper, and like give people a reason to think I'm intelligent though. But like I don't like disrespect my blackness though. This is my culture. I love who I am and I talk the way I talk, you feel me though. But it's just like when I talk and be proper, people say, "Oh my God, you're so proper for a black guy." But you see, I bring it up I bring all that up just to say how they have preconceived notions about us that we're murderers, thieves, gang bangers, etc., etc. So already my skin color is telling people how they should view me. So it's just like they don't like us. Nobody likes us at all.
You got that right, knowledge seeker. Oh my goodness. Like I couldn't have put it any better than what you just stated it. And especially coming from a melanated male, I think it's so important to get your perception and your perspective because I can only speak it from a female's perspective. I'm not a male, but I do know that they have it bad out here just as bad as we do. I don't know which one has it worse. I feel like we both have it bad. Um, Women have it bad because women get paid less, like in the workforce. And if you're a melanated woman, you're going to definitely get paid less. So I know they pay males more. I don't know what Prince was looking at. Sorry, I got distracted. But yeah, and it's like they have these expectations for you just by looking at you, what they think you should be, what they classify you. They're judging you just from the jump, and you have to basically prove yourself worthy enough to be accepted, if you will. And nobody should have to live like that. Like you said, it's a target on your back from the moment you're born. And it's very unfair and it's very unjust. So
I
I
mean,
agree
when
with
you
that.
really think, when you really think about it, though, the fact that black people, like we're even part of America as a whole, though, because like people don't talk about this though, in the original U.S. Constitution that was written by these racist bastards like George Washington and Alexander, what you call them, our founding fathers, though, in those documents, they actually had it written down that the Negroes staying enslaved from Africa are 3/3 human, and we don't even have souls. And then so it's easy for them to enslave us. So in the U.S. Constitution, the black melanated people are only 3/3 human, the ones they enslaved.
Yes. Yes. And you know what? It's funny you bring that up because it's the Constitution technically doesn't even apply to us. You know what I mean? When they wrote the Constitution, I think that majority of the indigenous people were enslaved during that time. So what you said holds a lot of weight, knowledge seeker. I think people don't study things that are very important and prevalent to us today. If we're going to be fighting for something, we should be fighting for something that actually makes a difference. Um, and I don't know why, they feel that they can basically set themselves as if they are inferior, superior over us because they're not. And what makes them think that we're a part human because we're not. We are fully 100% human beings. And it's just very sad that these values still hold true today. They still treat us like we are less than, in this land, in America. So that's why I said the American dream was not really for us. This is something they painted for themselves and it's targeted for certain individuals.
and it speaks more value when it's a slap in the face that a foreigner, somebody that's not even from this country, wasn't even born here, can get more rights and have more benefits than me, though. I mean, like, because I'm from California, the Bay Area, California, right? Though it's just like every single project in California has, they have, the immigrants, they have laundromats, Chinatown, restaurants, all these businesses, and then they're driving luxury cars and stuff like that. They got about 10 children driving luxury cars and these restaurants and clothing shops and stuff like that. Meanwhile, though, we struggling, can't make ends meet though. But then again, though, we go to their restaurants and clothing stores though, and we give them money to help benefit them out though. And then I'm pretty sure we are probably the reason why a lot of their kids can be that they can send their kids off to college. Our
Yes.
hard-earned cash send these immigrant children off to college.
Absolutely. This is very true. And one thing I do know about the other cultures, education is extremely important to them. Education is extremely important to them, more so that I see with our own people. Now I'm not going to say all of us, but we need to be more concerned with education than about like buying PlayStations and stuff like that for Christmas and birthdays, because if you're not educated and you're just entertained all day, you're not really using your brain. And I think so many of melanated families do, they want to prove that they can afford these things and give their children a better lifestyle, that they really don't focus on what's important, what's going to help them in the future. And yes, you're right. It is very disheartening to see that our hardworking money goes to their benefits, to allowing them to get business loans, allowing them to, get obtain businesses over here, build nail salons, build, all these things that they're having, and they collect from melanated people, and then they go to their neighborhoods and live well. That's what they do. And then partially our own people are to blame because they support the businesses. Like they have the Chinese restaurants. Who do you think is eating the Chinese food? You know what I mean? The shrimp and
Especially
fried rice.
especially when it's in the projects too. On top of that, though, it's just like there's a Chinese restaurant on every corner in the
Yeah.
projects, so you know who's going to eat their majority of their clientele is going to be melanated people. So like, yes, we funded them too, though. Not to mention though, I refuse to go to this because I love fish and chips. Though that's just who I am. I love me some good old catfish and fish and chips though. But like there's a restaurant not too far where I live at though, and it's just like but it's owned by Asians cooking black food. And then like every time I go over there though, the line is always so long, and I have to think to myself though, us as black people, we don't think how racist and how insulting that is. They're taking our recipes, our food, cooking it, and serving it right back to us. That
Right.
when I seen that, I'm like, man, I have to pay for our people because we are brain dead out here. That isn't that y'all okay with that? These are our home cooked meals, our recipes
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
catfish and fish and chips, and it's racist when I think about it though, and we just give them our money and we just don't care. We just want to eat and all that type of stuff. Like, bruh, our people. I don't know what to say on that.
I know, like, I don't know if you've ever watched the documentary Hidden Colors, but I
Oh,
did talk about it.
I've seen like almost all the documentaries on Hidden Colors though. I've seen all the
Yeah.
I've yeah.
The reason I brought that up is because I believe it was Dr. Umar Johnson. I know people have issues with him because of, the school and the donations and stuff, but I'm talking about the actual topics that he brought up in Hidden Colors, and that is, or I think it was him or somebody spoke on this in Hidden Colors. I don't want to misquote the individual, but they talked about the fact about the economic situation, how we will give our money to any and everybody, but they won't buy from us. So, like, say we were to go over to China and we had like a Chinese restaurant and we decided that we want to serve shrimp and fried rice. The Chinese people are not going to come and buy from our restaurants. They're going to go to their own restaurants and buy from their own people. But our people don't care. We will slave and sell ourselves out to anybody. Okay. And that's why we have the FBI infiltrators that you just saw talking about how he did this for money. Like, we don't care. We don't value ourselves. We don't value our social economic status. We don't value our unity. We don't value anything about each other. This is why we sell ourselves to the highest bidder. If somebody came into the neighborhood and they were of a different ethnic background, if they had a certain product that we all liked, majority of them is going to buy from the other person, if especially if the prices are cheaper, because they don't want to pay more to a melanated business because melanated business doesn't have the infrastructure or the resources or the funding or the benefits that a lot of these immigrants get to run a business. So their prices have to be a little bit higher for the consumer. So we do not practice unity when it comes to finances and economics. That's the problem.
I mean, when you think about it, though, the average black man and woman struggling in the hood, if they became a millionaire the next day, they would turn their back on the hood just like that. We always talk about love and unity, though, but if the average black person struggling in the hood or the average millionaire person in any area became a millionaire, a millionaire the very next day, they would turn their back on the black community in a second, though. We're seeing that now, especially with these celebrities who just do nothing but spill out propaganda by their antichrist freemasonic bosses, all right, because like those are their handlers though. So like even so Jay-Z and Beyonce and all these celebrities, y'all idolize y'all, they ain't for the people neither though. They also turned their back on us, and they're not gonna throw nobody a bone.
They're
Nobody a
not.
bone.
No, they're not. Oh my goodness. Let me show y'all my F Your Feelings shirt, y'all. Okay, it's F Your Feelings Friday. But
Merch.
yeah, I just had to put that in there. But
Mhm.
anyway, speaking of Beyonce, so she's doing I think she's still on tour, right?
Yeah, she's still on tour. It hasn't ended yet.
All right, so let me tell you this, right? I gotta
My
tell you.
cousin went to go see her.
Oh, your cousin went. How was it?
Yeah. She, my cousin, she told me she had a ball. Beyonce performed
Good.
for over 3 hours straight, though. I don't go to concerts like that, though, but she had a good time.
Oh, well, that's good. Nothing against Beyonce. I'm not gonna say she doesn't have talent. If it's so many stories about that's not her voice. I don't even know if it's a clone, whatever. That thing isn't my daughter. That's what Mr. Noel said. I don't even know. But if people like it, whatever. My whole thing is this: people are actually paying like $1,000 for the tickets and can't afford rent. And then I met a guy that got off of work early so he could go to the concert. Like they shut the whole street down for her, first of all. They were closing and shutting down businesses for this concert. And one lady I was speaking to, she said that she has a daughter that was going back to school. And she was like, she just couldn't afford the tickets. And she was like, yeah, meet and greet, I would pay to see Chris Brown and this and that. I said, first of all, and I told her, I said, no celebrity is worth me paying money to meet and greet them because at the end of the day, they are a person just like you and I. The difference is they just have a more public platform. They just have more exposure. Now, some of them do have a talent. Are there other people that are more talented than some of these people? Yes, but they just have more exposure. They're no more special than any one of us. They just have, the utilization of resources to make them look a certain way. There's no way I would pay $1,000 to meet a Chris Brown, $300 to meet a Beyonce, go backstage with these people because we really don't know these people. We just know what we see in front of the screen, the TV camera. You're going to pay all this money to meet and greet with them for a couple of minutes. What is wrong with your moral compass within yourself? You're the value in yourself. If anybody should be paying money, is they should pay money to meet me. That's how I would look at myself. You should look at yourself as a celebrity because all of us has a gift, a natural ability, and a talent. It's just not set on a public platform for the masses to see. So I just think that people really get outside of themselves and beside themselves when they say, oh, I'll pay $1,000 to meet these people. For what? These people don't even know you. Like $1,000 could do a lot for a lot of people right now, especially in the economic times that we're in. And you're sitting here with a daughter complaining about school supplies and the prices. Why in the world would you come out of pocket to pay hundreds or $1,000 to meet a celebrity? So when she said that, it was like, first of all, your priorities doesn't make sense. And then the value that you have in yourself doesn't make sense. But people can do it as they wish. It's their money. But I just think that it's just nonsense to me when I really look back on it. Like I wouldn't do it. Like you said, I don't go to concerts like that either. Now there are certain people that I would go see, but they're more like people like Anthony Hamilton, people like John B, stuff like that. I'm not
Hmm.
really into all of that Beyonce, Jay-Z stuff. I really could care less. I remember when the Jay-Z tickets back years ago was going for like $400. And one of my uh, colleagues that I work with at the bank was like, would you pay $400 to see Jay-Z? And actually, me, I wasn't a Jay-Z fan like that. So I would never pay $400 to go see him. Like, I have his CDs. That's good enough for me. I don't even listen to his CDs like that anymore. Now, if you want to listen to it, I can just stream it or go to YouTube. But like, no, I wasn't going to pay $400 then, and I'm not going to pay it now. No, the answer to that question is no. But there are people out here that will do that type of stuff. And so when it just comes down to it, people will have their priorities where they want to have them. Like I told you, if there was a melanated business out here and it was, say it was good service, what if it was food or restaurant or whatever it is, um are people going to support it? Maybe and maybe not. But if it's something that they really really want, they will sacrifice for it. And that's what I'm saying. We don't sacrifice for the greater good of our people as a whole. But when it comes to our individual wants and individual desires, a lot of people will make that sacrifice. And
I
that's the
know.
problem.
When I think about it, though, do you know Beyonce? She went to all these states to perform. Though, do you know how many melanated people probably gave thousands of dollars to see her perform live? Though, if we all would have took all that money, the black community as a whole, the melanated community as a whole, and invest into that money together and come together as a community, that will be the day our enemies will get scared, though, because like that's the one thing I noticed all these other races are doing right now from the Asian community, the Arab community, and the Jewish community. They all still work together with their economic money and values to help benefit each other out and stuff like that, though, to keep them
Yeah.
going on. We have no like commitment to each other on that though, but only when it comes to self pleasure to like to spend thousands of dollars on a Jay Z and Beyonce concert, even though you're almost 3 months behind on your rent, but you can still go to a Jay Z and Beyonce concert, or you got bills to pay, but you could buy a Mercedes Benz that you can't afford.
You
So
know, go ahead. I'm sorry.
nah, you're good. I was gonna finish off by saying that's where our values are at in our community. It is sad.
It is. It is. And you can ride through some of these neighborhoods to speak to what you were saying about the car situation. I remember, when I first moved to a city and I was riding through and I saw the neighborhood was economically disenfranchised. And I'm like, when they got this nice big Mercedes Benz parked outside of this place, like you can't live in your car. I mean, people can technically, but I'm just saying, what is more important, where you live, your environment, or this car that you're driving? That's a token of what you want to prove to everybody that you can drive this vehicle. And honestly, y'all, like if you live in Europe, that's all people drive. It's an everyday driver for everybody there. Like if you live, because I used to live in Germany, everybody drives Mercedes and BMW. Those are the taxi cabs over there. And then they drive Audis and they drive Saabs because they're made by the Germans. So these are German vehicles. So it's just like when you come here to America and you see that they put these vehicles on such a high prestigious pedestal, it's like that's a common everyday driver in some of these countries. And then like what you were saying about how people only want to use their money for self gratification is very true. Um, because they're made to be selfish. And it's like they don't care about each other. We are the one culture that loves to hate each other the most. You don't want to see someone else get a little bit more than what you have. You're not willing to come together. You throw your elderly away. What I noticed about the Asian people, they're elderly, they cherish their elderly. The Middle Easterns, they have their elderly living with them. The Hispanics, they all live together. I talked to this Hispanic guy, and he was saying how he rents rooms in his house for $700 a piece. He said, and they all pay it happily and live well, and they split the utilities so they can all have extra money. But like for some reason, our people can't do stuff like that because there's going to be someone trying to get over on the next person. They're not going to have the rent. Oh, I ain't got it this week because you know why? Because you spent all your money on weed and the Beyonce and Jay-Z concert. So now you don't have your rent money. Like it's just
Or
priorities are backwards.
or went and got the Mercedes Benz though. It's just like and shoots my little cousin. She recently graduated from high school, right? Though, and her graduation present was just like a Mercedes Benz, right? Though, but then like it was my uncle who bragged about, yeah, I got my daughter a Mercedes Benz for her birthday though. But like my cousin was even tripping though. She was just like, Dad, don't even tell people, it's not that really important though. But like he wanted everybody in the family to know he got her Mercedes Benz for her graduation present though. There was just something just so
Mhm.
like desirable and just
Yeah.
so beautiful to melanated people like the Mercedes Benz. It's just like
Yeah.
we will sell our own cousin out for a Mercedes Benz.
It's
Be behind
sad.
on our rent for a Mercedes Benz.
And that's another thing too. We have to get out of this mindset of this social economic situation, because a lot of melanated people don't have it like that. And if you're paying like five, and honestly, the prices of these cars, y'all, and I'm gonna tell you, it's getting out of control. Because I had to take my car, had a recall. And so I took it in and they gave me a loaner car. Oh my God, I enjoyed that car. I enjoyed that loaner car, y'all. I was like asking the guy, how much is this car? But BMWs have gone up and they're like, that car is about 39. He said he would say between 39,000, 37. I already knew the car was like, I gave it 35 to $44,000. But I mean, like it was great to drive it. But when it comes to the grand scheme of things, a car is to get you from point A to point B and be dependable. And the reason that people have become so fixated on having these European cars, because they feel like it puts them in a certain social status. And my thing is not worth it if you got other priorities that are going on. Like not having a car payment feels very good. I don't want the car payment, but I want the car. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
just like once you don't have a car payment and you have a car that's paid for, to me that is like relief and that's like beneficial. You got hundreds of dollars that you can spend elsewhere. These car payments now are like 500, 600, $700 and up for a lot of these luxurious vehicles. And that's because the price of cars have gone up. Even if you wanted to get like a really, nice Honda Accord. Like I used to have an Accord. I love the Honda Accords. But now the cost of those are almost just as much as like the luxurious cars. So
I
I would,
mean,
uh-huh.
like even right now though, it's just like I don't have a car myself though. I share the car with my mom though, but it's just like we have like a 2012 Alexis and stuff like that. So it's just like it's not a newer model. It doesn't have the fandangle back cameras and stuff like that. So we come to it got us from point A to point B. We bought it off of a family member, got it real cheap though, and it's good on gas though. And it's just like
Mhm.
I'm at the point though. I ain't trying to keep up with the Joneses though. I'm trying to keep up with the Joneses though. Like
Mhm.
it's hard to make money this day and age though.
Yes.
Don't the last thing you need is an expensive car bill.
Well, and that's for the individuals to learn, live and learn, because honestly, like he might have gotten his daughter, she just graduated Mercedes, but honestly, had he this is just my personal opinion. You got to think about the maintenance on that vehicle. And those vehicles, those European vehicles, they're not cheap when it comes to maintenance. Um, just the oil change is going to run you over $100 unless you know somebody that can do it for you. But it's a difference. Like the Honda, you could get an oil change for 30 some dollars. You wouldn't even really be paying $50 for the oil change, I don't think. At the most
Mm.
$50. On a European vehicle, easily $80 to $100, probably over $100, 120 is going to run you an oil change. Then you have to think about the premium gas that you're putting in the car, because those cars don't take regular gas. Now you can put regular gas in it, but your engine might start knocking. You remember when Kevin Hart was like, "We gonna put some regular gas in this bill."
Yes,
You
I
don't want to
remember
do
that.
that. You don't want to do that. And gas has gone up. At some of these gas tanks, gas is like $4.50. Some places I've seen it almost $5. And you're talking about
Jesus.
somebody in college and driving a Mercedes. So who's gonna put gas in it? Who's going to do the maintenance on it? You know, she might, if it's brand new, it's probably got a warranty on it. But what happens if that warranty runs out? So you got to think about that. And a tire, you know, for these cars, and just doing lower arm controls, and doing alignments, like, and the cars are very meticulous too, because you can't just go to anybody to work on the cars. Like, you can't just take these cars just to like a Walmart and say, I need service done. No, you need to take it to like a person that specializes in European vehicles. These vehicles are expensive. I'm trying to tell you, like, how is a high school graduate going to be able to afford that? So he's going to have to be paying for that. I'm pretty sure. And hopefully she doesn't, you know, have an accident or nothing happens to it. The insurance on these vehicles are going to be higher as well, because the insurance companies know that if the vehicle is involved in an accident, it's going to cost more money to get it fixed. If it's in a collision, comprehensive damage, you know, even to replace the vehicle. So I hope they got gap insurance, because that vehicle is just a lot to maintain, especially if you're coming straight out of high school. I wouldn't recommend getting something like that unless you really got it like that and you can afford it, to be honest, because it's a lot to deal with. Honestly, it really is.
Cause like my uncle, his family though, it's just like they're like middle class in a way too, and so it's like me and my mom and my family and stuff like that though. So it's just like I don't want to say he has it like that though, because everybody is struggling like that though. But he wanted to make it work, just to say that he did something nice for her, you know, for her graduation thing though. But it's just like for me though, like I wouldn't have necessarily got, you know, somebody fresh out of high school a Mercedes Benz though. Like this is not like a used one though. This one is like I didn't clarify though. It's new, fresh, plushed out the lot and stuff like that. And he wanted everybody at the cookout to know that he got his baby a Mercedes Benz though. So like, but I bring all that to say though, it's just like we love our people love the fine things in life though. We would sacrifice to the depths to have these
Hmm.
European items in our lives from the
Yeah.
yes, we like yes, sell a soul for that. Sell a soul for it.
Trying to have that American dream, huh?
Mhm.
What
And
happened to
then
you? Man, I went broke trying to have that American dream with that Mercedes Benz, y'all.
that part, that part, like what you gonna do when the bank account's empty and these bills gotta be paid?
But I'm gonna sell that car, yo.
Or yeah, you want to sell that card? The our people don't think ahead though. We just be in the moment. Like we just like I wanna have the symbol. I wanna we just see. We kind of know we're not free in this country though. Low key in a way, we low key think we feel like we're oppressed, but we
Yeah,
buy these European things to
yeah.
give us the symbol of freedom, even though we're not really free. That's
That's
the thing
true.
about it.
Man, I'm about to stun on these hoes. I'm about to stun on these bitches. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Like,
That's our
no.
culture.
No, you can't afford it. Stop it. But yeah, I get it. I don't, I mean, honestly, I don't think that was the best thing to do. Like, I think for her, if you got her like a Toyota, a Lexus is nice too, because you know Lexus is Toyota, and Toyotas are some of the most dependable vehicles, low maintenance, you know, something like that. If he wanted to go premium, or like Honda, like I feel like you can never go wrong with Honda. They're very dependable, reliable. I used to drive one for like 7 or 9 years, and I love that car. Very low maintenance, you know, but hey, what do you do? You know, people are trying to live that American dream. They're trying to prove to people that they got it like that. And really, right now, I think people just have to restructure what's important to them right now, you know, their priorities, because we know what's going on now. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. We don't know what's going to go on with this election, this campaign. You know, they have another strand coming out. They said we might be on lockdown again. We know when the last lockdown came, they shut stuff down. People lost jobs, businesses had to close. So you got to think about stuff like that when you make
Think ahead
financial
though,
decisions.
because with this whole COVID nonsense has taught me though, it's stuff like, you know, it's just like things in America is not sacred. Things that we once thought can be okay, it's not okay no more. I like to call pre-COVID life the before times, because right now anything is up for grabs right now. I was telling my homegirl the other day and stuff like that though. This system is doing things that I have never seen in my 20 some years in this world, and I'm young and stuff like that. And I
Mhm.
can see the atmosphere is changing though. So the last thing people in this day and age should be doing right now is heavy spending. Shoots. Hollywood is on strike because them niggas wasn't making money. That should be a wake up call to your favorite celebrity
Mhm,
is losing cashola. They on strike though. It's just like
mhm.
there will be no more TV shows made right now because they weren't getting paid though. So if the celebrities are vulnerable in their pockets, now it's
Mhm.
the perfect time to take a breath and don't be heavy spending right now.
I excuse me, I agree with you wholeheartedly, knowledge seeker. A lot of people can't heavily spend right now because they just ain't got it, but I just hope that and I want to say this too. I just hope that like the American economy gets better because I've been seeing a lot of these TikTok videos, which I started to play earlier, about how these people are complaining about like the financial infrastructure of America, food prices, gas prices, rent, housing. A lot of people are saying that, their paychecks, as soon as they get it, the paycheck is gone. And, you know, it's a problem when it starts reaching the Caucasian community. You know what I mean? Because a lot of melanated people have been known to do a lot with less, okay, and making things work in their favor the best way they can.
I
Because, like I
mean,
said,
before this whole inflation stuff happened, though, it's just like I had to work twice as hard to make a good living for myself. Fresh out of high school, though, then like I was going to college though too. Though I had a job working at Starbucks, and then on top of that, though, I had two jobs. Though I worked at Starbucks, and I also worked at an ice cream shop. Okay, because I needed extra money,
mhm,
like do things I want to do, and also they had gotten me early on like my college loans. And that
mhm,
stuff ain't cheap though. So it's just like I've been
mhm.
on this grind and this hustle like for some years right now though. But like you just said, though, it's always a problem when it comes to Caucasian community. Now they're starting to see what it's like to be us though, because I don't want to say our people are lazy though, because majority of statistics shows though black people we really are workers though. We have
Yeah,
to work twice as hard in
yeah,
every field to get two jobs,
every
sometimes three jobs. My
yes.
father had two jobs when I was growing up though. He had to work double the money to
Mhm.
to to provide for us though and stuff like that.
Yeah, because they get paid less. I mean, and that's just what it is. Even if you have a degree, they start you off with less, regardless of your credentials, regardless of your talent, regardless of your background, and all of your experience. They do that because they look out for their own. So that's a problem. And then, like you were saying, with the multiple jobs, yeah, I've done that too because you want to have a comfortable lifestyle. You want to have extra money. You don't want to just have enough to pay your bills and then nothing else left. So now, a lot of these TikTok videos, I'm starting to see the Caucasian people complaining about it. And like, I guess maybe the government will listen now that they're complaining. I don't know. But this has been the consensus for a lot of people already in the first place. So, I mean, now what do you think is really going to happen now that they're complaining about it? I think
Yeah.
the people that are still thriving are the immigrants, the people that have these IT tech jobs. A lot of them are Middle Eastern. They're in India. A lot of times when you call these companies, the people that you speak to are foreigners. You can barely understand them. So, this is what Donald Trump was talking about when he said, we're going to keep the American jobs for the American people.
Now, I will say this though, I'm not going to defend Donald Trump's actions as a person. Though he could really be a scoundrel as far as like everybody, as far as we know though. But I'll give credit where credit is due. The man told the truth and he was honest about his feelings.
Yeah,
Like
he
I
was.
saw nothing wrong with what he was saying. No, you asked Obama a question. He always say, "Let's see what Congress think. Let's see what the American people
Yeah.
think." No, no, buddy. I don't know what you gonna do about the war on terror. I don't know what you gonna do about the immigration problem. I don't care what Congress says. I
Uh-huh.
want to know what you gonna do.
Right. He would give a political answer. Donald Trump was just blunt and straight to the point. Very true. Very true. Now, I don't agree with a lot of the antics with these politicians, but I'm trying to figure out, like, if they're saying that he has been indicted or impeached or he's about to face jail time, how is he going to still run and how does he think he's going to be the president?
That's why I also do be saying though we do live in a scripted reality though. It's just like Trump could also have the same handlers as
Mhm.
Barry Soros and
Mhm.
Sleepy Joe have though, so they could be duping us
Right.
because
That's what I was thinking
they
too.
they they definitely could be duping us though because I've met a lot of woke conspiracy people though who tried to promote Donald Trump saying he's draining the swamp or quote unquote though, and I was neutral with it though. I wasn't anti that or for it neither. I just have to just be quiet and sip my tea. You know what I'm saying though? But I don't trust nobody on TV. I don't
You
trust
can't.
any politicians.
You cannot trust no one. I mean, what did that FBI informant just teach us? Trust no one, okay? All skin folk ain't kin folk. Ain't that right, Tinkerbell? Yeah.
So cute. That's so cute. Yeah.
Yes, knowledge seeker. But let's see, it's been 2 hours and 19 minutes. I thank you so much for coming up. Do you have any closing words before we head out?
Now, I do want to say in this day and age, though, like I always want to leave with something prophetic, though. It's just like I say this all the time, though, but still, everybody, still be careful out there and maintain your energy, though, because like people out here are literally insane at this moment, though. It's just like the people who are letting my circle are getting smaller and smaller because there's snakes out here, and the crime rate is just off the chain, though. There's a break in, a murder almost every single day, so you have to, it's getting crazy out here. So, like, pray, like, have
Yes.
the ancestors watch over you, have the creator watch over you, and protect the energy and be careful out here though, because like, yes, and I do believe there are spirits and they can watch over us though. Like the ancestors
Yes.
are never dead. I carry them in my heart every single day. They inspire me to do better. So like carry them and do what you have to do and protect your energy because it is crazy out here though. So like we don't know what's gonna happen in these next couple of weeks
Mhm.
regarding this possible lockdown, not to mention another election year is coming up though. So when the election year comes, it gets crazy. So keep your mind sane, protect your energy, and have the ancestors watch over you.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it any better. And you know what? With that, knowledge seeker, I'm gonna let you be the closer for today because you so well articulated that narrative, and I just really appreciate you coming up, showing support. Blessings to you and your family. Blessings to your colleagues, everybody that you work with, your neighbors. We want to make sure that you have good neighbors around you. Your goings and comings, as you travel out and about on your job. Bless your finances. I hope many great, rewarding opportunities come your way on your journey. And, I know it's a lot coming out of college, having student loans, working two jobs. I've gone through a lot of that myself. The best advice I can give anybody that's still young in age is to start a side business of something that you can always fall back on, whatever that be. It could be a service, it could be a food truck. Let me tell you, y'all, food trucks are winning out here. There's one at every gas station. These Mexicans with these taco trucks. Okay, I saw them pulling up to the Amazon place. They are out here, okay, and they get into the bag. So if y'all want to start a food truck, I think that's a good way to go to get some money because people always like to eat. People are greedy and they're hungry all the time.
Like exactly. For all the Beyonce fans out there, take her advice. I'm a hustler of a hustler. It's just like girls, y'all love Beyonce. Do that though. Like you gotta get your hustle on out here. Be a
Yeah.
hustler.
Yeah. Definitely have multiple streams of income, y'all, because you can't always depend on one single thing. You remember when Donald Trump was in office last time, the government went into furlough. People weren't getting their their checks, their government checks and stuff like that. And he had the people in the White House when the NBA basketball team came to visit. I think they were eating McDonald's cheeseburgers and hamburgers. Y'all remember that because the chefs weren't working.
He was clowning for that.
Yeah, complete hot mess, y'all. But anyway, this has been an episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. F Your Feelings Friday. It's F Your Feelings Friday all day, every day. Hashtag no days off. I want every one of you out there to continue to walk in your divinity. Stay blessed until next time. And hopefully, like I said, I'll be on here more regularly and we can have another episode next week of F Your Feelings Friday. Shout out to Knowledge Seeker. Thank you so much again for joining.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right, y'all. Signing out. Look, I played the wrong thing. That thing said welcome. I was trying to play an outro, but that's okay. All right, y'all, signing out. Until next time, stay blessed.